It's been nearly 1 week since the fatal shooting on the movie set in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed, and director Joel Souza was injured when Alec Baldwin fired a long Colt revolver while rehearsing a scene.
None of this footage was meant to decide guilt, but years later, it did. At the time, these recordings seemed routine, images stored automatically, cameras doing their job. No one expected them to determine responsibility or consequence. But when investigators reviewed the footage in full, each case reached an ending that could no longer be argued. And one of these recordings didn't reveal the truth right away. It only made sense after everything else failed. Every story ends the same way, with accountability. The satellite images that proved who ordered it. In early 2022, Russian officials publicly denied plans to invade Ukraine. There were no announcements, no warnings, but commercial satellite images told a different story. Independent analysts reviewed imagery from companies like Maxar and Planet Labs. They showed troop formations, armored vehicles, and temporary camps forming near Ukraine's borders. Russian officials described the buildup as routine military exercises. But when Russian forces invaded Ukraine on February 24, 2022, those satellite images were re-examined. They confirmed the invasion had been prepared weeks in advance. The images were later used by journalists, governments, and international investigators. In 2023, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin related to war crimes involving the unlawful deportation of children. Putin has not been arrested and remains in Russia. But under international law, he is now formally designated a suspect. The satellite images didn't prevent the invasion. They established responsibility in the historical record. But what followed wouldn't be captured from orbit. It would be recorded from just a few feet away. The body cam footage that left no room to deny it. In January 2023, Memphis police released body camera footage following the arrest of Tyre Nichols. Initial statements described a struggle during a traffic stop. But the body cam footage showed something else. Prolonged force, multiple officers involved, and no immediate medical aid after Nichols was restrained. The footage was reviewed by independent use of force experts. The decision didn't come quickly, but when it did, it was unmistakable. 5 former Memphis police officers were fired, arrested, and charged with second-degree murder and related offenses. Federal civil rights charges were also filed. The suspects are currently awaiting trial. The footage didn't argue. It determined who would be charged and why. And again, it wasn't finished telling the story. The CCTV footage that closed the cases. On January 6, 2021, hundreds of surveillance cameras recorded the breach of the United States Capitol. Many suspects later claimed they never entered restricted areas. CCTV footage proved otherwise. The recordings showed precise movements through hallways, stairwells, and chambers, minute by minute, frame by frame. Federal prosecutors used this footage to identify individuals and reconstruct their actions. What followed wasn't immediate. Investigations took months. Trials took years. By 2023 and 2024, hundreds of defendants were convicted. Many received prison sentences ranging from months to years. The suspects were identified, prosecuted, and sentenced. The footage closed the cases, but not the pattern. The police video that decided responsibility. In October 2021, cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed on the set of the film Rust. Early reports described the shooting as a tragic accident with unclear responsibility. Police body camera footage and recorded interviews later showed safety failures and inconsistent explanations. Investigators relied heavily on that video evidence. The process took time. In 2024, armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 18 months in prison. Actor Alec Baldwin was charged separately. His case remains unresolved, and he has not been convicted. The footage didn't speculate. It determined who would face criminal consequences and who would not. Cameras don't decide guilt, they preserve reality. And when that reality is reviewed without edits or excuses, stories reach an ending that cannot be rewritten. In each case, footage meant to be routine became decisive. It identified suspects, it led to charges, and it defined accountability. And somewhere right now, footage recorded today is waiting, not to be watched, but to matter.